SysloSpice, digital recipes for dominance. SysloSpice. Recipes for digital dominance. Hello everybody, we're gonna dive right in. All right, here's what's going on. So we got a little bit of SysloSpice coming at you. We're gonna do free weekly trainings on everything relating to marketing, digital media, video production, video editing, website design, graphic design, social media design, how to generate more leads, growing a digital brand, brand transformation, brand strategies. They're all gonna be free live trainings that you're gonna get an accessible link to. We're gonna do it every Wednesday at 7 p.m. My goal is to really educate you, give you some spice, throw some heat on it, build it all together so that you have everything you need for free to check out and improve your brand, your marketing efforts on social media right now, especially right now with everything that's required to bring your brand, your business, whatever it may be, into the digital era. So I hope to see you there. Sign up, let's get you on. I look forward to seeing you there. SysloSpice, recipes for digital dominance. I'll see you there. Everybody, how you doing? Welcome back. We're here, we're live. Sorry that I wasn't here the last 2 weeks. I was traveling around. Hopefully the audio is working. I didn't have a chance to test this before. You could just drop that in chat if I'm coming through loud and clear. But yeah, so the last 2 weeks I was, 2 weeks before, I was in St. Augustine doing a shoot for Airbnb, which was pretty exciting. Awesome, Eric. Thank you for letting me know. Glad you guys are here. So I was up in St. Augustine doing a shoot out there, so I wasn't able to quite make it back in time to do SysloSpice. And then last week, I was in Nashville shooting a reality show. So our company actually does produce reality shows and works to get those out onto Amazon Prime and Netflix and other streaming services that are out there. We got a whole production crew. We've got everything we need to really make that go right. And that was fun. We did six episodes, 3 episodes back in September, 3 more episodes last week. And then I'm actually flying out to Houston again on Monday to get some more stuff. So if you or anybody you know needs a reality show, definitely let us know. But anyway, thank you for coming. I appreciate you being here. To the guys that come back every week. As I said, hopefully you got to see some replays last week about the other 2 or 3 episodes that we have done. And this week, I really wanted to dive into, what does it take to build a successful brand? Where does that come from? And I'm just going to level with you. This is going to be like a no holds barred, everything that I know about building a successful brand and where a lot of problems come from and why brands don't really make it, because it's not easy. If you've tried to start to build a brand right now, you've probably encountered a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today, or you've gotten discouraged, or you felt like, why am I even bothering to do this? How does this guy get so much more? What are we doing? Do I have to strip down into bikinis to get noticed? What is it that I have to do to really build a successful brand? And so this episode really ties into all the stuff that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, because all that production, all that work, that and investment really that went into creating those pieces of content. I mean, we're not talking a small chunk of change here, but we're talking about an investment. And that's really, really where you want to start when it comes to building a successful brand. So we got a few points, a few things that I want to go down the list and run through with you tonight. So if you got a pen, paper, notepad, whatever it is, take some notes. If you want to get other people on here, they can sign up. This is totally for free. I mean, people pay me. They'll pay me anywhere from $3,500 to $5,000 to do an hour training with them. So you guys are getting this for free, which is awesome. And I hope it's of value to you. We'll be back on a more consistent schedule. So I will be back next week again. And then the replays for this, always 2 ways you can get access to it. There will be a link that will be emailed out to you from Zoom, but I will also have it live on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube yet, please make sure that you do and check it out. And we'll dive right into today on what it takes to build a successful brand. Now, some of this stuff you probably heard, some of the stuff you hear people talk about, but being on the ground floor, I was a part of a group where there were only 5 to 7 people within an organization, and that brand blew up to over 125, 140, just massive dominance. And it was not a simple task. Like, there was a lot of time and energy that went into that. And that's that first section that we're going to break down right now, which is strictly about time and energy and what that really is and how you're going to break this out into you, right? So I want to go over a few things that are kind of, I don't know, the word I'm looking for is misconstrued, right? So the first thing is, there are a lot of lazy people out there, okay? And I hate to say that, but you guys aren't lazy because you're here on a weeknight on a Wednesday at 7 o'clock learning about how to build a successful brand. But something can happen where you'll say something to the effect of, you're building out the message, you're investing time and energy into the development of a brand, you're investing time and energy into production, and you'll start to you might slack off a little bit. You might turn around and say, hey, you know what? I don't have time for this. I really can't do that. I'm not interested in doing it. And the second that kind of creeps into your universe, that's an indicator that you've gotten off center, right? You're not really playing the game that you were designed or that you were wanting to play. And so what that could do is create this sense of laziness where it's just like, okay, I'll just do one of these, or I'll do a post, or maybe I won't do a video. Yeah, I won't put that together. And the second that laziness comes in is where it starts to fall apart. So a successful brand, I mean, when I tell you the amount of energy that goes into creating a brand, I've seen it and I've helped create it. And the guys that drop off realize how much work is actually involved in doing that. And they just don't want to do it. They don't want to invest that energy. Look, I've been guilty too. Like, when I started maybe 5 or 6 years ago, there were days where I was like, man, I'm lazy. I just don't feel like doing this. I want to hang out. I want to do this. I want to go surf. I want to go to the gym. And you can't do that. Like today, I'll tell you, my day was crazy today. So this is like the first full day. I'm like, okay, I'm back and things are really grooving here. And I put together 6 advertisements for this Airbnb company. And they were about 3 to 4 minutes long, a lot of detailed stuff going in there, handling stuff with clients, taking phone calls, coordinating different things that need to get handled and done with the business. And I was like, I didn't promote as much as I normally wanted to promote. So I got through to the end of all the actual content that I needed to create. And I turned around and I said, okay, let me just start talking into Instagram stories. It's not going to take me long to do it. Let's do it for 5 minutes, 8 minutes, right? So I just jumped in there and I started communicating. The tendency to drift into laziness just means you're not fully committed to the direction that you want to go, right? The other version of laziness is where you just want everything to come to you. And you build this beautiful brand, and we'll get into some of that a little bit later about like the whole, like the brand's got to be perfect and all that stuff. But you build this beautiful thing and you're just like, people should show up. And unfortunately, that's just not how it goes. But I'll tell you, the amount of people that we help and the amount of people that we talk to every single day that still think that they just show up and it happens. I mean, it's unreal. It's a false expectation. And if you've worked with an ad agency and they set that expectation with you, you're kind of playing the wrong game. With us, we don't do that. We definitely let you know how much energy is going to be required into it. We try to substantiate that, but there's just wrong information on that viewpoint of, I built it, they should come. No, what you've done is you've built it. Now you got to get them to come. Okay. You got to invest your time. You got to invest your energy into reasons why they should come. Like doing the SysloSpice deal, doing this, the amount of energy and promotion that I have to do to get you guys to come, it's a lot of work on my end. I spend money on it. I build all the different content pieces out for it. We market it. We tell people about it. We do emails, and it's a lot. I mean, I think we have over 100, and I think we have like 200 signups right now. So just to think about how that actually goes, it's like, okay, well, what do it actually take to really get this going? It takes a lot of energy and effort. So when you're falling into that lazy thing, the first thing that I do is I literally just pick up the phone and I start promoting. I may not feel like it. I may have a headache. I may be tired. I may not want to do it. I may have had a horrible experience, or somebody gave me some crap that I don't want to deal with right now, or they were just negative. And I just say, you know what? I'm going to communicate. And the crazy thing is that when you actually communicate and you promote, you feel better. It's an odd phenomenon. I don't know if maybe you guys can tell me in comments if you've ever experienced that, but the moment that I started to promote and communicate and get content on Instagram stories or do a post or something like that, I just felt better because I reached, right? Because I'm reaching to get people to come in, to communicate with me, to want to be a part of my universe and be a part of that. So whenever I feel that laziness come in, I turn around and I say, okay, we got to communicate now. Okay, let's send something out. You have to spin that heavy, solid. It's heavy, man. That laziness is heavy. You know, it just like sinks you down and you don't want to move. You got to turn that around and spin that into, let me put this into promotion. Hell, talk about, I did not feel like promoting today. I felt super lazy. I wanted to go take a nap, you know, whatever. I had too much going on, but I'm still doing it. Use that to your advantage, right? People will not just come to you like that, though. You got to give them reasons to come. You got to keep showing up. You got to keep showing up. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep going that way. You have to give them reasons to come. So like SysloSpice is a great thing because it's a great community. We're building a community of individuals to come through and be a part of this and spend one night a week with me. And we talk about how we build these brands and what we do. We're going to get into some more in-depth stuff later on. But again, it's not a lazy action. It takes a lot of energy to sit and talk for an hour or so after a very extensive day. That's commitment. So you guys have to look at that and say, well, all right, how committed am I really to this, right? Am I wanting somebody to just do it for me, or like what's the level of involvement that I have to be to make sure that this goes through, right? So let's move on a little bit from that. Staying excited about it. Man, sometimes that's probably the hardest thing, staying excited about the brand, because some days you'll post and you'll get like there are days where I'll do posts and I get incredible engagement. The perfect thing today, if you go look at my Facebook today, it's stupid. I did 2 posts over the weekend. Like that was a lot of engagement, a lot of likes. And I did a post today, educational post. It's got like 3 likes on it. And I'm like, how can I go from getting 300 likes on Facebook to 3? Like that doesn't even make sense to me. So it's really easy to get discouraged on that front, right? But you have to stay committed to it, because I always go back to, it only takes one person to give me $5,000 today. It only takes one person to turn around and say, hey, Robert, guess what? We have an opportunity for you to meet somebody who's very, very, very influential on the global economic scale, who has his hands in a lot of, you know, charitable, environmental, you know, innovations, initiatives that are being done across the globe. And they're looking for somebody who can produce documentary films for all of these 25 different initiatives. One post, not a lot of likes, but that turned into a huge opportunity. Do you know what I thought about? I literally went and said, wow, I've been building this brand since 2016, right? I can't even count how many stories I've done, how many videos I've created, how many phone calls I've had to make, how many text messages I had to send out, how many emails I had to send out, just to create enough energy and enough attention to be worthy to get on a call like that, right? So, and when you put that into perspective and you look at your brand and you say, what comparable magnitude am I promoting at to equal the amount of income that I want to receive? What I just said right there, if you get this, you will be super successful with your brand. What magnitude am I comparing my energy, my content creation, my commitment, my promotion efforts? What magnitude of that am I trying to match to the amount of income I feel I deserve and what I can get? Is that $500,000? Is that 10 million? Is that 30 million? What does that look like? And I've always said that there's a correlation. If you watch some of my older YouTube videos, there's a correlation between the amount of promotion that you do and the amount of income that you make. So that call was not just, that wasn't happenstance. Like there was a lot of momentum, altitude creation in the marketplace, content creation in the marketplace, you know, to really sell even my wife of like, hey, we can actually deliver for this guy. You know, it's like, I can deliver because we do this all the time. So for you, you have to ask yourself, what magnitude am I trying to promote my brand to receive the amount of income that I want? And you got to, when you think about it like that, okay, and this is how I justify doing all this stuff and getting over the hurdles of like, oh, I got terrible engagement and all this. I get reignited and I get really passionate about it. I don't look at what anybody else is doing. I don't look at what anybody else has going on in the marketplace. All I simply do is turn around and just say, wow, how many more of those could I get? When this is done, like who else can we get in front of and how is this going to grow? Like for me, that's a real world tangible result from years of marketing effort. Would you promote that hard to have an opportunity to get a 7-figure deal like that? Hell, I would. Hell yeah, I would. I'd do it for more, right? So you have to have that viewpoint of like, what is the magnitude? And that ignites your passion to keep you excited about it. Because when you get a move like that, big move, you're like, dude, this is really where we need to be. And that's where we're going, because you stay committed to it. I think Eric had a question. Do you have set time blocks to promote your own business versus working on your business and building campaigns for clients? I don't have any time blocks. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but while I'm waiting in between certain things, I'll pick up the phone and promote. If I have a down moment, I'll go shoot a video. It's I'm very fluid with it, because if I get really rigid and I say, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to just do this. I put it on a to-do list during the day, and I say promotion, one video, and then X amount of information, X amount of posts that I need to do across social media. And so for me, that becomes the fire of how I'm going to plan my day out. So I don't really have a set time. If you're somebody like that, then set your time to do it, but it's not necessarily required for you to make that happen, right? And then the last thing on this time and energy piece before we get into something a little bit more intense is you have to know, the goals, which ties into this, but you have to know where you're actually trying to go with your brand, right? So how do you identify what that looks like? Okay, what's that 1-year term? What's that 2-year term? What's the 5-year, 10-year? Where are you going to be in 20 years? I know guys that have been in business for 30 years, some longer than I've been alive. And I just asked them, what did you think about your brand? And they're like, well, we didn't really think about it, but we had an idea that this is the magnitude of what we want it to be. And I'm going to slide over to this one thing. When I was in Nashville shooting this reality series, I met with an investment banker. I want to do a video on this. I'm going to get that done. But I met with an investment banker, and he was talking about how they get other investors to invest in businesses and why they would pick certain industries over other industries. And you know what he spent the longest time talking about? A brand. He spent the longest time talking about somebody that builds a credible, content rich, value rich, visibility rich, which I learned from our Cartier guy, visibility rich brand. I don't call it visibility, I call it awareness, but it's the same thing. Like, they spend all that time to build this, and then all these investors will drop millions of dollars into a business or just buy the business, right? For them, that's actually one of the most important pieces next to, does this business cash flow? It's like cash flow branding. So if you're trying to build something, yes, you want it to cash flow. Yeah, you want to invest in real estate. But if you want to get acquired, if you want to get more investors into that business, I'm telling right from a very credible investment banker, he's just like, branding. We want to know what the brand is. We want to know what that's going to be. We want to know, can it perform? Can it sustain? Can it last? Is it worthy for us to take millions of dollars and put this money in? Because they're gauging it both on the cash flow, and then what does it look like to the public? Like, is it something that somebody wants to remain a part of? And why not? Like, why wouldn't they want to be a part of it? But he said over and over again for 20 minutes just about branding, the strengths of the brand. Not even the logo came up, but just the presence of the individual. The presence doesn't even have to be something dramatic or like over the top. It's just, does the presence exist, and are they consistent about it? And that's something that they were interested in, which I thought was astounding. In fact, I'm doing the interview and I'm like, excuse me, I want to ask you another question. Totally off top. Like, I'm there for my client and I'm getting all this information from this investment banker, because how many investment bankers of that stature do you actually talk to? Not many. So I took all that data and I was like, okay, this is something that is very credible and really reinforces the ability for the ability for a brand to be super successful, right? So moving on is this idea of withholding yourself. Now I want to talk about this because this is really important. Withholding yourself, okay? If you're worried because you don't like the flow of your pictures on social media, or if you don't like, it doesn't look a certain way, or it's not 100% up to the standards that you want, or you're trying to delay it because it has to be this or it has to be that, and all of these different things, what you're actually saying is you're not interested in promoting your product. You're more interested in something that doesn't even really matter at the end of the day. It really doesn't. I've never had that situation come up where it had to be perfect. And I've seen big businesses lose hundreds of thousands of dollars, or companies that were a startup and they had, $500,000 invested into it and the company never went anywhere, because you have people on the line that are so focused on getting this thing perfectly created, perfectly and it's the wrong focus. Okay, you're focusing on the this picture should be here, this color should be this should be that, this should be this, and you're not doing anything to attract new customers. You're not doing anything to build awareness. You're still in this kind of cocoon thing, and it's a withhold to the public to be able to transact with you while you're focused on a very insignificant portion of marketing and branding. Yeah, that stuff matters. But again, as I just said, an investment banker and all these guys talked about the power of the presence. And if you're focused on this thing, you can always correct this. Like, the correct way to build the brand is to start now and start going back and tweaking as you go. Same thing in business. Like, you don't hire all these people and be like, well, I don't have anything for you. No, you create the demand and then you bring them in, create more demand, and then you add your administrative stuff into it. It's the same thing with the brand. You create the demand, you create the awareness, you create the outflow, you create the interest, and then you go back and you tweak all the things that need to be there. Maybe you want to updo the logo. Maybe you want to redefine the website. My website's gone through so many different changes over the last 3 years. I don't even remember what the original one looked like, because I was going in one direction. And then I started talking to more people and started looking at it from an objective viewpoint. And I said, well, this doesn't matter anymore. Let's change this to this. Okay, let's do this. I don't even think my website is absolutely perfect right now. In fact, it could load faster. But I'm not worried about that, because I'm looking at it from the standpoint, okay, can they transact there? Good. Can they get access there? Good. Can they get information there? Good. I'm not worried about it being 100% perfect, because we're making a lot of money as it is. Why? Because I spent all that time not focusing on this little insignificant piece. I just focused on, can I communicate? Can I communicate? Can I communicate? Can I get information out there? Can I, and how often can I do that? Because I've worked with people that stop. Like, you'll do a post and they'll take it down. And you're like, why are you taking this down? Like, you're stopping, you're literally shooting yourself in the face. You're 8 months behind where you're supposed to be, and you're not even letting any promotion go. Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to make money, or like, do you like just creating problems or suffering? So you have to ask yourself that question. If you're stopping yourself from posting, it's like, well, why are you self-inflicting pain to yourself? Are you unethical? Do you have an ethical product? Do you not believe in the product? Do you not believe that you could actually do it? Do you think, is your product a fraud? Are you a fraud? Like, what is it? Because if none of those things are there, you'd promote all the time. You got a great product. If you're ethical, if you know how to actually help people, if you're solving problems with that, then why would you hide? The people who don't want to go out on social media, I'll tell you right now, are criminally inclined. They're a little more criminally inclined, in my viewpoint. Because in my viewpoint, if you've got something that you want to help people with, why would you want, what's the problem? Well, people are not going to like what I have to say. Okay, who cares? Your purpose with the brand of being successful is to solve problems for people and to help people find you. So now, I'm not saying that everybody's a criminal that doesn't want to communicate, but I'm just saying, like, if you were really, truly trying to help people, you would want to communicate more. So just check yourself and just be like, does all this actually line up? Does all this actually make sense? Like, am I actually able to help people? And am I actually delivering a good product here? Because if all that's true, you would go out and you would market and you would scream to the loudest that you can to get people to notice what you have going on. Don't withhold yourself from the marketplace. Like, give everything to the marketplace if you can. Give it as much as you possibly can, and let them know, oh, dude, you need to know about this, or lady, man, whatever. You want to invest that strategy into that, as opposed to investing inwards and stopping, or preventing a communication. Okay, you put a video out, there's an error. Good, take it down, put it back up. No big deal. Okay, you put a graphic out, there's a misspelling. Oh, this is misspelled. There's people who are like, I will correct your LinkedIn post. I'm like, okay, good. I mean, if that's all you're worried about, like, you're not my type of audience. You're worrying about my LinkedIn, but you're not taking what I was trying to say. Good, fine. I'll go back and I'll fix it again. But you see where the logic goes? It's like, out of all that, you just got that. Out of all that valuable money-driven data, that's all you got out of it. See, because I'm not concerned about that. I will be fine either way. I will continue to out-promote. I will continue to create more content. I will continue to communicate because that's priority one. I'll go back and fix my errors later. Now, I try not to do errors. Obviously, we try not to do that. But again, your speed and ability to get that communication out into the marketplace. And I don't have any withhold on myself communicating. Like, I don't have any problem doing that. I don't have any problem dropping something in and saying what I need to say and getting the information out because I'm ethically trying to help people. It's my responsibility as a business owner. Okay, it's my responsibility to my clients to further educate more people about what it is that we do so that they're able to understand and track along with where we're going. Same thing with the SysloSpice thing. Like, we're here because I'm literally sharing with you how I think, how we do things, how we approach things. You'd be surprised how many of these basic things people don't even understand, which brings you into this next point about the basics, right? And this happened with the car wash stuff we were shooting and for the reality show. And they're like, well, this stuff isn't really that exciting. This isn't really cool. And I'm like, yeah, but you live in this. Yeah, this is your world. You live this, you promote this, you market this, you sell this every single day. You live it, you breathe it, you handle all the problems with it. I'm an outsider and I think it's the coolest thing ever. I think it's totally interesting. So if I think it's interesting and my job is to get you to communicate that into the marketplace, there's so many people out there that you think you're like, my stuff's stupid. Nobody's going to want to listen to this. Couldn't be further from the truth. Couldn't be any further from the truth. The stuff that you find boring, basic, simple, blah, 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 people need to know it. And heck, they need to be reminded of it 7, 8, 9, 10 times, right? I mean, we've got clients today, or not clients today, but people that I've worked with where I'm like, you still need to do content. Where's the content? And they're not doing it. And it's just, it goes back to that lazy. It goes back to, I don't think my audience is there. I don't think that people are going to respond to this. Good. Shut your business down. Stop whining about marketing and get off the marketplace. Just get out, leave, and let somebody else who has a better attitude than you do it. Because your attitude is really invalidating and you wonder why you don't make money because you worry about the wrong things. Oh, it's not perfect. And whine 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 and whine. And during all that whining, you could have done 10, 15, 20 posts. It takes one day. My vice president and I talk about this all the time. It takes one day to turn everything around. It takes one day to turn around that brand. It takes one day to turn somebody into a customer. It takes one day to have somebody say, I got it. I understand. And I want to do business with you right now. It takes one day for that to happen. Now, there's a lot of other energy and effort and successive actions that you had to do to get that one client to turn into something or 10 clients to turn into something. But you know what? It's because you held the attitude right. You built that brand correctly. You are the brand, right? You're going to attract what you think. You're going to encounter what you put out. So if you put out this negative thing, do you see we have no leads yet? We have no leads. You've been advertising for 7 days. You've spent $150. We have no leads. Nobody knows you exist. I love that. We have no leads. We have nothing. We've got nothing right now. Okay. How much are you spending? Oh, $400. Okay. That will happen. You'll get your leads, but it's going to take more time. What are you spending? $20,000. Okay. That's a lot more. That's a different story. Now you're getting a lot of momentum, get a lot of flows. So whenever you start feeling like complaining about the brand, just look at it and just say, where am I at right now? And we're going to talk about the money thing here in a minute and show you how you can kind of handle that and work around it. But it's my favorite thing when people get upset about not getting results. And it's like, well, you didn't put the effort in. Effort means money as well. By the way, it's activity, it's content creation, it's the development of the message, it's the development of all the things that you need, but it's also money. Money is effort. Okay. Getting money, keeping money, spending money is all effort. Not bad effort, but it's effort. Okay, so you need to think about that a little bit differently. All right, effort. When people say, and they don't really tell you that. I don't really know a lot of guys, but they'll say, well, you got to spend more. It's true, you do have to spend more. But if you can't spend more, what else could you do? Well, there's other things that you could go around. But building a successful brand, like get rid of the complaining, get rid of the negativity, get rid of the withholding, get rid of the discouragement, get rid of the negative attitude, and just say, I'm helping somebody today. When I first started, I had like 30 people view a post, and I was so upset about that. But I would like you to go stand in front of 30 people right now. Like I go to a mastermind with 30 people. That's a decent amount of people. Or maybe you got 400 views. Have you ever been in a room with 400 people? I have. That's a lot of people. And even if you convert less than 1% of that at a $10,000 product, I'll be happy, right? I'd be happy with that. I'd be like, wow, we did great. This is great. Would have loved to do more, but still. So your brand is a reflection of your values. It's a reflection of your attitude. It's a reflection of how you approach business. It's a reflection of how you handle business. Guys that don't handle the business accordingly or keep track of everything, they're not going to keep track of a brand. You're not going to keep track of what you need to do. You're not going to keep track of the posts that you need to make. You're not going to keep track of the interest you're trying to create with an audience. You're not going to do that because you're poor in business and you're poor in your bank account. Those that promote the most are rich in their brand, they're rich in their business, and they're rich in their bank account. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just who promotes the most and they make money. They make money. You know what I mean? Everybody goes out for Halloween. Everybody went out for Halloween dressing up in their costumes and doing all this stuff. Great. Love it. Love the personal life. I was working. I was promoting. I was doing my deal. Right? So you got to look at it. What is your brand going to reflect? What are you going to represent? I'm sorry I keep hitting that. I'm very talkative with my hands. But what is that going to mean for you? What are you trying to communicate? What kind of world are you trying to create and bring people into, right? Because that brand is a reflection of the values, the integrity level, the ethic level, the work ethic level, where you're trying to go and the magnitude of what you're trying to create within your company, right? So a successful brand knows all of that in an instant and knows what it is that they need to do to take it from there. Guys that are lazy are just like, we don't have any leads yet. Did you make calls? No. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing? You like to complain more than you like to do action. You like to complain more about marketing than actually do the steps. I'm not the only marketer on planet Earth. You guys are here and I thank you for that. But go watch other people. They're going to give you information. I'm giving you information right now. It's there. Will you act on it? It's like going to the gym or hiring a personal trainer. She says you got to do blah, 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 blah. And unless you do blah, 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 you're not going to get the six-pack washboard abs that you're trying to create for yourself or whatever it is you've been trying to do, right? I'm just leveling with you, man. I mean, I've worked with guys that have spent $2 million, $3 million, $4 million a month, and this is what we do. This is how they think. This is how they approach business. $4 million a month ad spend, $1 million a month per platform. Think about that. How many people struggle to make $1 million a year and people are spending $1 million per month per platform? And you're over here complaining because you're spending $500 and you want the results of $1 million effort. It's not going to happen. Can you get to $1 million effort? For sure. If you do what I'm telling you, if you invest in that, if you strategically spend your money wisely, which we've talked about in other ones, which we'll talk about today. But don't withhold yourself. Get rid of that negative attitude, okay? Get rid of the idea that it has to be 100% perfect for this to work. It does not. Get rid of the idea that you need to have the best equipment, that you need to have the best body, that you need to speak the best, that you have to have an American accent. Oh, I have an accent. I have an accent. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. What you have to say is more important than that. Nobody cares that you have an accent. In fact, I wish I had an accent. If I could do it again, I would have an accent. I don't even know what accent I have, but I have an accent, something. When I'm in Australia, they're like, you're an American. I'm like, that's right. I am an American. You're right. But I wish that I had an accent because it'd be more fun. You're automatically more interesting that way. People get introverted on the wrong things with their brand. The guys that win, they don't care. They're like, I'm just going to show up and I'm going to do this. I'm going to start talking. I'm going to start promoting. I'm going to get rid of all the negativity out of that. And then I'm going to invest my time and my energy and my money into the expansion of it, right? Tracking along. So this is a mindset shift for you. You want to build a successful brand. Everything I'm telling you about has to be adjusted. It has to be adjusted. Unless you've got $20 million you want to blow. But even then, that's not going to work. Even then, it's not going to work because you still got to come around and still have some viable product or something that you're going to work with, or a viable message that you can duplicate and produce positive effects with that will last for long periods of time. Accents don't matter. Location doesn't matter. What you have doesn't matter. What matters is, did you show up and are you in a positive frame of mind when you go to promote? That's what truly matters here. And that's what we're talking about today. Even the guys that are spending millions and millions of dollars per month in advertising. You guys want the $1 million results without doing the effort for $1 million stuff. I mean, other people talk about that. It's literally the truth. And that's how it goes. Next, money and investments. Now, I'm going to level with you. At some point, you will need money. You will need money to invest into marketing. If you don't have money, find a way to get some. Sell something. Be of service to somebody else. But you could start marketing with a small budget, but don't expect miracles with the small budget. It will work, but it will take 3 times as long if you had money. And I'm saying this not as to be rude. I'm saying this not to discourage you. I'm saying it's possible. I'm saying it can happen. I'm saying that if you're starting with a low budget, expect that kind of result back. Now you can tweak it, you can adjust it, you can make it work, you can change it, you can do all this stuff, you can test out other things. But the point is that as long as you're starting, that's good. But have a plan of like, okay, how do I take that budget from $400, $500 a month to 20 grand a month to 100 grand a month? How am I going to get there? What steps do I actively have to take to get it to that point? Okay. And what else will I need to do to substantiate that? Maybe I could get a loan. Maybe I could pick up the phone and sell something. You know, my business today, I did not take a single loan out for my company. Not a single investor is invested in my business. We did 7 figures. Okay. $1 million business, not a single loan. All I did was pick up the phone, promote, call, and follow up. That's all I did. That's how I made money. That's how I'm doing it now. And I'm going to continue to do it that way with our team that we have as well. Right. So I took that money and I started putting it away, and then I started stashing it so that I could hire a marketer to work with me so that we could grow my brand, and then have assets that are set aside so that I could actually market more, create more products, and have more reach out into the marketplace, because my attitude's positive. I have an ethical product. I'm consciously not trying to rip people off. We're in great communication with people, and I'm focused on how can I get this into a position where people can actually transact with me and do more. You need to invest into production. Okay. At one point, you will have to invest into a nice camera. You'll have to invest into a good microphone. You'll have to invest into some good lightings. I just bought new lights. You can see the blue one. Where is it? There's the blue one. This is hard to do when you're not. Yeah, this one. Okay. It changes colors. And then I have another one over here. It changes colors. And I got another one over here. I bought all new lights because I was like, it's time to upgrade those lights. And they're portable, which is cool. I can take them on shoots with me. But I'm always investing. I'm looking at another camera. I'm looking at another system. I'm looking at another computer. I'm looking at more ads. I'm looking at another person that we could bring on to help us. I'm always looking at, how do I support the brand? Okay. If as I said at the beginning of this, the magnitude of where I'm trying to go has to equal the effort or the income that I'm willing to accept. And if I need the best, I will pay for the best to get the best. Okay. I will pay what I need to pay for my brand, and I will learn what I need to learn from my brand to be able to accept better clients, high quality clients, more income to come in. And that's how you have to think about it. Okay. Yes, we talk about scaling the business. We talk about scaling the company. We talk about scaling the message. But you also have to think about, how do I scale the actual mechanics? How do I scale the things that are going to help me communicate more? I pay for the fastest internet I have here, that I have actively available. I'm like, what is your fastest internet? That's $300 a month. Okay, let's go. Give it to me. I want it because I need it, because I'm streaming. I got computer. I don't want anything to inhibit my reach into the marketplace. I don't want anything to inhibit or pull my attention in a negative way that I didn't invest into, that prevents me from doing what I want to do. A successful brand will invest in what they need to invest in to get the job done. And whatever that might be for you, if you've got a budget of whatever, you make it work with what you got. But again, have a plan. What's the strategy? How do you get up to that higher level? Okay. How do you get up to that level where it's going to really make an impact for you and your brand's going to stand out? We got guys telling us all the time, Rob, your brand looks so good, man. That brand looks good. Everything looks good. Everything looks good. I figured out how to connect all this stuff up so that I could have the cool camera in here on Zoom, right? I got my Sony a7 III hooked up to this. I'm going to be getting the a7S III. That's the next camera I'm going to be buying, the a7S III. But I wanted the best, make it look good, do what you got to do. And that's a great camera, by the way, that you can work with, right? But you're going to need to spend. Now let's talk about ad budget real quick. Okay. If you're going to start with 500, good. Start with 500. If you could get to $3,000 a month, you're good. That's a good number. If you can get to 100 grand, even better. You can do $1 million. Well, it's a different story. You're playing big boy games at that point. But where we're at and where you're starting, whatever you can finagle into your budget to be able to start that expansion, do it. But have the plan, have the roadmap, set the proper expectations. It may take 6 months, 8 months for it to start gaining traction. It may take some time. You know, it's going to take an investment. It may take more than you think to actually get this to work, right? But a successful brand is going to do it. They're not going to think. They're not going to hesitate. They're not going to Q&A on it, question and answer, go back and forth. They're going to make an instant decision. Instant decisions in branding works the best, whatever that's going to be. You want to make a post about something, instant decision, make the post. You want to create a new product, instant decision, make the product. You want to make a video, instant decision, make a video. Instant decision, no thought. Too many minds. Lose the mind, okay? Lose your mind, literally. Take it out, put it over there, get the rationality out of it, and just go a little bit hammer time on it and just say, good, successful brand, big brand, more clients, more business, more income. Good. Promote it. Good. Promote it. Yes, that looks great. Good. There's a spelling error. Good. Okay. Take it down. Put it back up. Done. Thank you so much. Right. The guys, what did I see today? I saw a post today. It said, the only one who rocks the boat is the one who isn't rowing. Yeah, that was the post. And it made me think of a few people who've tried to correct me on social media. And I'm just like, what are you doing today, man? Like, what else are you doing today? Like, where's your business that you're scrutinizing me that much? You know, cool. I'll correct it. No problem. Thank you. Great. Got a client out of that, actually. But that's the idea, right? So the idea is, what are you doing right now? How fast are you doing it? What kind of decisions are you making? And are you making fast decisions, right? Because most people won't do that. With money, it's the same thing. I won't spend it. I need to wait. Dude, it's November 3rd. Oh my God, we have Christmas in a month and change. Christmas is the toughest time for marketing because you're up against every big company that's got unlimited budgets, deep pockets, and you're like, oh my God, and you try to promote yourself and you're just like, oh, it's not working. Santa Claus is truly coming to town and he will take everything from you. He will take your market share from you. That's why I start promoting really hard in November, because Santa Claus literally just sucks it all up. And that's it, man. I mean, it's November. I can't even believe it's November 3rd. Like, that's ridiculous. You know, it's going to be Thanksgiving here in 20 days. And then you have Christmas another 30 days right after that. What are you doing to prepare for that? What are you doing to prepare for 2022? Right? We're going to do a whole session on that one. But this brand, this successful brand, you're always thinking ahead. Oh God, Christmas is coming. Oh God, no, Thanksgiving is coming. Yes, spend time with your family. Last Thanksgiving, I was making money. Christmas, I was making money. I was promoting. I was still doing all that stuff because I know that if I let off the gas even a little bit, a successful brand maintains momentum at all times. A successful brand maintains momentum at all times. A successful brand maintains momentum at all times. Did you get it? Do I need to say it again? Do not let off the momentum. Do not let off the production. Do not let off the advertising. Do not let off the spend. Okay? Don't let off. Keep that momentum going no matter what you have to do it. Whatever it is. Successful brands make that corner turn and they keep going and they accelerate down the straight line and they don't care. They don't care. They figure out a way to make it go right, and that's how it is. So your ad budget, if all you can do is all you can do, then that's all you can do. But if you can get more and not miss it. Okay, that's the other thing. Do not go into building a brand as a lifeline. Big mistake there. Do not build the brand as a lifeline, as this is going to save my life. And if this doesn't work, I'm homeless. No. I need to advertise today. And if this doesn't work, I'm totally out of the box. And you should not have done it in the first place. If that's that bad, then what are you doing? Something is very, very wrong if that's the problem. Okay. You invested your time and your energy. And I go back to this all the time. Waiting too long. That's the waiting too long phenomena. That's what that is. That's the I waited too long phenomena to market. That's exactly what that is. Okay. I wanted it to be perfect. Oh my God, I have no money because I spent all this time, money, and energy on making it perfect. Now I have nothing to market with. Oh, sorry. Now you're in a bigger hole. We're taking out another loan. Now you're in a vicious cycle. You see, instead of spending the time, good brands at the beginning, they spend a lot of time, energy, and money on awareness. That's all they care about. Awareness, 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 more awareness, more awareness, more visibility, more awareness, more visibility. It's cheap to run awareness ads. It's cheap. Run awareness ads. You can reach so many people for cheap, man. Like, put your logic cap on. If I build that audience that much, and then I turn around and I say I have something to sell for them, dude, you're already well ahead of where everybody else is right now. You're already well ahead of that, okay? Awareness, awareness, awareness solves all problems, solves more problems than you could think of. A successful brand solves its income problems with more awareness. That's it. That's it. And they spend as much money as they can on it, as should you, whatever that number is for you. Spend as much as you can. Learn the skills to, okay, good, you can't afford to hire a graphic designer. For $79, go buy my Photoshop course and you can learn that, okay? Need to be creative, want to get creative, go for $29, go get my creativity course. Or get a course to learn how to create your own brand. I know video editing, Photoshop, web design, graphic design, email marketing, CRM management, everything you can name, copywriting. I learned it all so that at the beginning, I knew I was going to have to do it all. But now I have a team and I can do all their jobs, but that's why I have a team, so that I can focus on the growth and more awareness and more visibility of the company. That's all I focus on. I'm just like, how much more visible can I become? How much more visible can I become? How many more people can see me? All right. So that's the money thing. And I want you to understand the money thing. You will have to invest in it at some point. You will have to spend money at some point. Okay. Don't be cheap. Do not be cheap on it. Spend the money. Spend the money. You have to. 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 If you want to play a bigger game, if you really want to attract big clients, if you really want to pay, if you really want to get paid at the level and caliber of which that you feel you deserve for your ideas, your time, your energy, you got to spend the money on the ads. You got to spend the money on the brand. You got to do it. Successful brands do this, and they scale it, and then they reinvest back into it. Then they scale it, then they reinvest back into it. Then they scale it, then they reinvest back into it. And they just keep that going and going and going and going. And that's how the mindset is that you have to have. Invest, scale, come back. Invest, scale, come back. All right. Now, moving into the last section here, and then we'll open it up to question and answers, is this never back off thing. Don't ever back off. Successful brands never back off. Even if somebody tells them, hey, shut up. Hey, stop promoting. Hey, stop marketing. That's too much. Too much, man. You're getting too much. I had somebody tell me, you're getting too much attention. And I wish I would have punched him. I would have gotten fired, but I should have punched him because it was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, well, wait a minute. The attention making me more money, man. Promotion's making me more money and it's making everybody else more money. So what do you think? Are you like suppressive? Are you trying to suppress me? Like, what is this? You know, like, why would you even say that? Right? Don't ever back off. Even if it feels like it's not working, don't back off. Even if it feels like it's not working, don't ever back off. Successful brands don't back off. If it's not working, go harder. If it's not working, go back to the drawing board. Analyze your message. Analyze what it is that you're bringing together. Analyze that whole vision. Analyze the magnitude. Analyze everything. And say, what's working, what's not? What could I do better? What could be improved upon? Could something be improved upon more? Could we spend more over here? Could we explore a new platform more? Could we talk to somebody else maybe? Do we need to bring on more people? Do I need better equipment? What is it? Don't ever back off. Just find the problem. Don't complain. Don't whine. Don't go cower and be like, oh, don't do that. Those guys that do that, they never make it. I'll tell you right now. Those negative people that have that attitude, like, oh, we're no leads, man. We want no leads. Business doesn't go anywhere. Ever. They're just stuck. They're stuck in this circle over and over and over and over and over again. Over and over again. And they wonder why they never move, because they're focused on the wrong thing. Instead of just actively trying to solve the problem with what we're talking about here tonight, you could accelerate forward. You could accelerate forward, okay? And using advertising and marketing, when I find the guy who put the idea in everybody's head that advertising is like the ultimate solution to everything and that it makes you a millionaire, I will punch him in the face, because it's not true. It's an asset. It's a necessity, but there's other actions that have to go into that. So Eric asked the question. If you have questions, by the way, you can put them in here. I'll see them. Do you feel that branding can have a direct ROI that you portray to clients? Do you feel that branding can have a direct ROI that you portray to clients? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I look at it from the viewpoint of, okay, you reach this many people. You could be banging on a list of what you've created as far as leads are concerned. And then somebody else out of nowhere could come in and buy from you. And they're just like, we saw you on Facebook. And it could be an even bigger deal than what that happens to me all the time. I'll be banging on my list. I'll be marketing on my list. I'll be doing what I got to do on this list. And then somebody else turns around and they're just like, hey, we're ready to work. Let's do this. I'm like, how'd you know about this? Oh, I saw your video on Facebook the other day that had 3 likes on it. And I want to do business with you. So do I believe that it has a direct ROI? Absolutely. It totally does. There is a direct ROI. And in fact, I mean, if you could just attribute the awareness and the expansion to ROI, if you could start thinking like that, man, you're going to skyrocket. The guys that spend all the money on ads and building that brand to that level that I've seen and been a part of, they don't care about that. You think every dollar spent equals an ROI for them? No, they want domination. They want the magnitude of income to come back, and it always does. Do you have a course that teaches your cold calling framework? I don't have a course that teaches my cold calling framework, but it is on my lineup to do. I will be making an advertising sales training course, which will have my viewpoint of sales in it, with some cold calling stuff, but it's not going to be directly focused on cold calling. It'll have some pieces of that, but yeah, it will have, to answer your question, yes, it will be in there for sure. It will be in there for sure. But that's a great question. Both those questions are great. And if you guys, everybody else that's on here, if you have a question, you can totally ask me. But do you feel that branding can have a direct ROI that you portray to clients? I absolutely do. That's why I never back off. That's why I never back off from branding. Ever. I never back off from it. I never back, even when I'm getting terrible engagement. Facebook went down. I'm still trying to recover some of that engagement that I lost, but I'm still going to go after it as hard as I can. Why? Because I don't back off. I'm not going to let the system beat me. I'm going to beat the system. And that's how I'm going to do it that way. And then lastly is just get around experts, right? So successful guys in the branding space, you know, people like me, the company that we have, who we help and how we do things. I mean, they invest in learning more. You guys that are on here tonight, you know, you just spent the last hour with me, learning about what it takes to build a successful brand. And this was more of a mind shift. I just combined mindset and shift into one word, mind shift. That's pretty cool. Anyway, this is a mindset shift of what we're doing tonight on advertising and marketing. Okay. On building a successful brand is really the shift there, because marketing and advertising is a portion of that. But what we're talking about here is the sustainable play. Okay. If there's one thing that you get out of today, and I'll open it up to questions. If there's one thing that you can get out of today, it is that idea of what is the magnitude of promotion I'm willing to do to equal the amount of income that I want to make. That is the biggest concept that no one ever talks about that you need to. And this kind of answers your direct ROI question, right? So let me ask you a question, right? And think about this. Like I said, wife and we got on the call with Cartier, president. That deal is going to be equal to at least a year's worth of production. How could I quantify that? He didn't come in as a lead. He didn't come in from anywhere else. He came in because of all the masses that I've been doing that established my credibility in the marketplace. So what's the ROI? How can I track that ROI? Or do I say all of this activity that I've been doing for 3, 4, 5 years equal to this jumping point, which is how I look at it. whenever I get a big move like that, I'm like, all this effort, energy, time, money spent, investments, failures, you know, lack of engagement, feeling like I'm worthless, going through the emotions of all that stuff, turning around and then getting that, it's like, all that energy is worth it. All that energy is worth it. And I hope that tonight, when you think about what it takes to build a successful brand, that you go back and you watch this and you understand that I have been around people that spend millions of dollars and help them do this. And I'm telling you how it's done. All right. So I'll open it up to questions right now for you in the last few minutes. How long should most marketing pieces be to be most effective? That's a great question. So there's a couple ways on that. If you're going to do an ad, 30 to 60 seconds, but then again, you could also do kind of a more free form documentary style ad, which could be 5-10 minutes long, which some people will watch. You could also do, YouTube loves its long form videos. So you got your 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes. Facebook, I'm noticing, doesn't really like long form videos anymore. I don't see a lot of traction on those as much as I used to. They like the kind of quick hit, you know, the bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, in and out kind of a thing. And I'm not saying that to be rude or anything like that, but that's how it feels sometimes when you post on Facebook. But yeah, so your length should be, if you're going on YouTube, long form. If you're doing an ad, 30 to 60 seconds, could be 2 minutes. If you're going a little more documentary style in the ad, you could go something like, 5 to 8 minutes long. And then you have your long form content, which is like your 10, 15, 20, 40 minute long videos. Like what we're doing here, when this goes up on YouTube, this will be 58 minutes long. So that's long form, right? Hopefully that answers your question. What other questions do you guys have before we roll out on the SysloSpice? Hopefully this was helpful. If you liked it, let me know in comments. If you guys have questions specifically or specific topics that you want me to do, in addition to the outline that I have that I want to get through, you can put them in comments, or you can shoot us an email, info@sysloventures.com. If you need my help with anything, like let's say you want to, maybe you want me to consult you one-on-one, or you want us to create content for you, build ads for you, you can email me, Robert@sysloventures.com. You could also, if you want to learn how to do Photoshop, go to SysloVentures.com. Right there on the homepage, you can get access to all the training courses and everything that we have coming on. I still have the editing video coming out, the editing training platform with Premiere. That will be coming out shortly. I was trying to do it in October. We had a lot of reality shows we had to do, but it's still there and it will be done. In regards to branding, I'm noticing my engagement going up and net followers going down. Any suggestions on why this is happening? It's happening across the board, man. I'm losing followers. A lot of people are losing followers and they're just like, what's going on? Honestly, if engagement's going up, I'm happier about that. I wouldn't even worry if you lose people, because you'll get more people from the engagement than you will from the people that are just like dormantly following you. Okay. But we seem to think it has to do with fake accounts and things like that are being removed. So no issues there. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. I hope you keep coming back. We got a lot of good stuff going on. Daniel asked, are 15-second Google ads good since Facebook likes shorter ones? Yeah. Google ads, tell you something, you want to make some money? Google ads is where the game's at, man. Google ads, I love Google ads. We love YouTube ads. We love our pre-roll ads. YouTube ads work so fantastic. We'll do some training on that. We'll go over how to set up your Google ads and things later on. But yeah, 15-second ads are brilliant. They're great. Thank you. I love branding and thoroughly enjoyed this. Good, man. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Well, that's everything I wanted to go over. Thank you for being here. I will be here next Wednesday, and keep an eye out. We'll have this up for you shortly on YouTube, and you'll get the replay link as well. Okay. I'll see you all next week. I really do appreciate. Invite everybody you want here. I'm just here to really give as much as I can back and help people succeed with their brand and digital marketing efforts on social media. Okay. I'll see you all next week. Take care. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the video today. Listen, I got a couple things I want to share with you. If you want help with promotion and marketing training on how to build a brand, transform your brand, you can go to SysloVentures.com/secrets revealed. It's a 200 course program online that gives you everything from starting with nothing all the way up to taking you to advertising. And whatever questions you might have, it's very simple, very short, very effective, get you going. Number two, if you need any help with anything digital, video production, web design, graphic design, maybe you need printers, maybe you need flyers, maybe you need graphics, social media posting, Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, LinkedIn posting, Twitter posting, video production, consulting, training, any of those items, we can help you with that. You can just go to sysloventures.com, sign up there, go to the branding page, check out the webinar that I have, take a look at all that. And then lastly, if you're a high-end corporate client, one that's spending north of $60,000 a month in advertising spend, you can go to SysloSpice.com, and we have special corporate enterprise pricing for you just over